The Monkey and the Crocodile. Once upon a time, by a flowing river, amidst a dense forest, there stood a tall jamun tree. On this tree lived a lively and clever monkey who spent his days eating sweet jamun fruits and swinging merrily. In the same river lived a crocodile, and over time, the monkey and the crocodile became good friends. To show his friendship, the monkey would offer the crocodile fresh jamun fruits every day. The crocodile, in turn, would carry some of these fruits to his wife. His wife enjoyed the fruits, but one day she said, if these fruits are so sweet, imagine how sweet the monkey's heart must be, my dear crocodile husband. I would like to eat monkey's heart. The crocodile was shocked to hear this, torn between his loyalty to his friend and his wife's demand. But he did not want to annoy his wife too. So, finally, the crocodile decided to come up with a cunning plan. The crocodile told the monkey, "Oh dear friend monkey, why don't you come to my home across the river? There you will get plenty of juicy fruits. And you will get to see my wife too. She wants to see you." Delighted by the invitation, the monkey climbed onto the crocodile's back. As they reached the middle of the river, the crocodile finally confessed. Monkey dear friend, my wife actually wishes to eat your heart, and that is why I am taking you towards my home, because she believes your heart must be sweeter than the fruits you give every day to me. The monkey was surprised but kept his calm. Thinking quickly, he said, "Oh dear crocodile, I wish you had told me this earlier. I left my heart hanging on the jamun tree. If your wife wants my heart, we need to go back to retrieve it." The crocodile believed the monkey and turned back towards the tree. As soon as they reached the shore, the monkey climbed up the tree and laughed. "Ha ha ha ha! Oh crocodile, in friendship, trust is everything. You tried to deceive me, but with my wits, I saved myself. Now go and tell your wife that true friends cannot be betrayed." This story of monkey and the crocodile teaches us the importance of staying calm during crisis and using clever thinking to overcome challenges. It also emphasizes that true friendship is based on trust and honesty. One bright and sunny morning in the deep jungle, a mighty lion, he was the king of the jungle, strong, fearless and powerful. His golden mane shimmered as he yawned, stretching his paws wide. Mighty lion lay resting under a shady tree. Just then, a tiny mouse darted past, not watching where he was going. Thump! He ran right into the lion's huge paw. The lion's sharp eyes flickered open. "Who dares wake me?" he growled. The little mouse shook in fear. "Oh great lion, I didn't mean to disturb you. Please let me go, and one day I promise to help you in return." The lion roared with laughter. "Ha ha ha! Help me? You are so small. What can you possibly do for me?" But something in the mouse's eyes was sincere. Feeling generous, the lion lifted his mighty paw and let the tiny creature go free. Days passed and the jungle was as lively as ever. But one afternoon, the lion's roar thundered through the trees, not in pride but in fear. Hunters had set a trap, and thick ropes coiled around the lion's body. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't escape. The animals hid, afraid, but then pat, 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 small feet hurried through the leaves. The tiny mouse had returned. "Don't worry, my friend, I will save you," the mouse squeaked. Without hesitation, he nibbled and chewed at the ropes, biting as fast as he could. Snap, snap! One by one, the ropes broke, and soon the mighty lion was free. The great lion looked down in awe. "Little mouse, you kept your promise. Even the smallest friend can make the biggest difference." From that day forward, the lion and the mouse became the most unlikely of best friends. Proof that kindness, no matter how small, always comes full circle. The Thirsty Crow. One hot summer day, a little crow was flying high in the sky. The sun was blazing, and the crow was so thirsty. His throat felt dry, and his wings were getting heavy. "Oh no, I really need some water," he thought. He looked everywhere and finally spotted a small pot near a tree. Excited, he quickly flew down and peeked inside. But, oh dear, there was only a tiny bit of water at the bottom. "How will I reach it?" he wondered. The crow scratched his head. He couldn't fit inside the pot, and tipping it over would not work. But then an idea popped into his clever little mind. He saw some small stones lying nearby. Plop! He picked one up and dropped it into the pot. Plop! He dropped another. Then another. Plop, plop, plop. Slowly but surely, the water started rising. "Oh wow! It is working," he chirped happily. He kept going until the water was high enough. Then, with a big gulp, he drank every last drop.
Oh,
"That feels so good," he sighed, feeling refreshed. With a happy heart and a belly full of water, the clever crow spread his wings and flew off into the bright blue sky. And guess what? He had learned a big lesson. Smart thinking and patience can solve even the trickiest problems. The Hare and the Tortoise. Once upon a time, in a sunny forest, there lived a super speedy hare. He could run faster than the wind and loved showing off. "Zoom, zoom, look at me go," he would shout as he zipped past the other animals. One day, the hare saw a slow-moving tortoise plodding along the path. "Hey, slowpoke, you move like a rock with legs." The tortoise blinked slowly and said, "I may be slow, but I bet I could beat you in a race." The hare giggled so hard he nearly fell over. "You, Beat me? That's the funniest thing I have ever heard. Let's race tomorrow. All the animals gathered the next day to watch the big race. Ready, set, go! Shouted the squirrel referee. The hare zoomed off like a rocket, leaving a cloud of dust behind. The tortoise took one step, then another, then another. Slowly, slowly, he kept going. Halfway through the race, the hare looked back and saw the tortoise far behind. Ha! I have got time for a nap, he said, curling up under a shady tree. But while the hare snored and dreamed of carrots, the tortoise kept walking, step by step. He passed the sleeping hare and kept going towards the finish line. When the hare woke up, he saw the tortoise almost at the end. "Oh no!" he shouted, hopping up and running as fast as he could. But it was too late. The tortoise crossed the finish line just in time. All the animals cheered the tortoise. The hare was shocked. "How did you win?" The tortoise smiled and said, "I just kept going. Slow and steady wins the race." So what we learn? Even if you are not the fastest, you can still win by being patient, steady, and never giving up. And bragging, that's never cool. The Ungrateful Mouse. Once upon a time, in a serene village, there lived a wise sage named Vishnu. He was known far and wide for his wisdom and kindness. One morning, as he was meditating under a large banyan tree, he heard a faint squeak. "Please help me, kind sage," cried a tiny mouse named Moti. Moti was being chased by a fierce cat and was absolutely terrified. Vishnu opened his eyes and saw the mouse running frantically. Feeling compassionate, he chanted a powerful mantra and turned Moti into a strong, agile cat. "There you are safe now, my little friend," said Vishnu with a gentle smile. Moti, now a cat, was overjoyed, but his happiness was short-lived. One day, he was attacked by a ferocious dog. In fear, Moti ran back to Vishnu. "Please help me again, Vishnu. I am in danger," he cried. Vishnu, seeing the frightened cat, chanted another mantra and transformed Moti into a mighty tiger. "Now you are the strongest in the forest," said Vishnu. Moti, now a tiger, was ecstatic. He roamed the forest without any fear. But over time, he forgot his origins. He started instilling fear in other animals, and his arrogance grew. He even began to entertain the thought of eating the sage. One day, as Moti approached Vishnu with malicious intent, Vishnu looked at him calmly. "Moti, have you forgotten who you truly are?" Moti growled, "I am the king of the forest now. I owe nothing to anyone." Vishnu sighed and with a wave of his hand turned Moti back into a tiny mouse. Arrogance blinds us to our true selves. Remember your origins, Moti. Terrified and humbled, Moti squeaked, "I'm so sorry, Vishnu. I realize now that true strength lies in gratitude and kindness." Vishnu smiled warmly and said, "It's never too late to learn, my little friend. Always remember to be grateful for the help you receive." From that day on, Moti lived a life filled with gratitude, and he never took advantage of Vishnu's kindness again. and helped others in need. The story of the ungrateful mouse teaches us the importance of gratitude and humility. It reminds us to appreciate the kindness of others and not take it for granted. True strength comes from recognizing and honoring the help we receive. The Greedy Dog. In a peaceful village, surrounded by green fields and chirping birds, there lived a dog who was clever, curious, and always hungry. Each day, the dog wandered through the village, sniffing around for something to eat. One sunny afternoon, the dog's nose led it to a small snack stall near the park. The aroma of roasted peanuts and warm flatbreads filled the air. Just beside the stall, the dog spotted a big juicy bone left behind by a kind passerby who had fed it earlier. Without a second thought, the dog grabbed the bone and dashed off, paws thudding against the cobbled path. It ran past the playground, past the temple bells, and finally reached the quiet river bank, where it could enjoy the treat in peace. But to get there, it had to cross a narrow wooden bridge. As the dog trotted across, it glanced down into the water and froze. Below, in the river's reflection, was another dog holding a bone. Eyes wide with greed, it thought, that bone looks even bigger. If I bark loud enough, maybe the other dog will drop it and I'll have two. The dog barked loudly at the reflection. But the moment it opened its mouth, plop! Its own bone slipped from its jaws and fell into the river. It washed helplessly as the treat sank beneath the rippling surface. There was no other dog. It had been its own reflection. Greed had tricked it, and now it had nothing. The dog sat quietly on the bridge, ears drooping and stomach growling. That day, it learned an important lesson it would never forget. Greed can make us lose what we already have. So, be content and grateful for what you possess. The Lion and the Hare. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a mighty lion. As the king of the jungle, the lion was fearsome and powerful. But he had a troubling habit. Every day he hunted and devoured the forest animals. Terrified and desperate, the animals gathered to devise a plan to appease the lion and ensure their own survival. After much discussion, the animals agreed to send one animal each day to the lion as a sacrifice, hoping this would satisfy his hunger and prevent further chaos. The lion accepted this arrangement, and for a while peace returned to the forest. One day, it was the turn of a small but clever hare to present itself to the lion. But the hare had no intention of becoming the lion's next meal. Instead, it concocted a cunning plan to outsmart the ferocious king. The hare took its time, leisurely hopping through the forest, deliberately arriving late at the lion's den. When the impatient lion roared in anger, demanding an explanation, the hare calmly narrated a tale. "O mighty king," the hare began, I was on my way to you when I encountered another lion. This lion claimed to be the true king of the forest and tried to devour me. I managed to escape, but only barely. The lion, outraged by the thought of another lion in his territory, demanded to be led to this impostor. The clever hare led the lion to a deep well filled with clear water. As the lion looked into the well, he saw his own reflection staring back at him. Mistaking it for the rival lion, he let out a deafening roar. In his fury, the lion leapt into the well to attack the supposed impostor, only to find himself trapped in the water, unable to escape. He realized that had he been calm, he could have saved himself from the tiny clever hare's trick. Regretting his action and realizing his mistake, Lion learned an important lesson that being calm, even in tough situations, helps us make wise decisions. The Talkative Tortoise. In a beautiful lake lived a tortoise named Kambu. Kambu was very friendly, but he had one big weakness. He loved to talk. He never stopped chattering. Kambu's best friends were two quiet, dignified geese who would listen politely to his endless stories. One summer, the lake began to dry up. The mud turned cracked and dusty. The geese knew they had to fly away to a bigger lake to survive. First Goose was really worried. He said, "Dear Kambu, we must leave. We will miss you, but this lake will soon be gone." Kambu was panicked. "Oh no, I cannot walk that far. What will I do? Please take me with you." The geese thought hard. They came up with a clever but risky plan. The second goose said, "Kambu, we can take you along. We will hold a strong stick with our beaks, and you must hold the middle of the stick with your mouth. But you must make us an honest promise." Kambu eagerly said, Yes, I promise anything." Goose once said, "You must promise, Kambu, not to say a single word during the entire journey. If you talk, you will open your mouth and fall." Kambu, desperate to escape, promised his friends he would remain completely silent. The geese began the long silent flight, soaring over green fields and villages, with Kambu hanging safely in the middle. The plan was working perfectly. As they flew over a small village, the villagers below spotted the strange sight and began to shout and laugh. One of the villagers, shouting up, said, "Oh, look at that funny sight! A tortoise flying!" Other villagers said, "Oh, who is that silly tortoise hanging from a stick?" Kambu heard them laughing. He forgot his promise to his friends. He urged to talk, to scold the villagers. It was too great to scold them. He opened his mouth to shout down at them. Kambu said angrily, shouting, "Why are you calling me silly? I am the one." Oh, Kambu never finished his sentence. The moment his mouth opened, he lost his grip on the stick and plummeted to the ground. The geese were heartbroken. Kambu had been honest with his promise to fly with them, but he was not honest with his promise to stay quiet. He failed to control his biggest weakness, and that broken promise cost him everything. Moral of the story is, be honest with yourself. Don't take any action in haste. The Fox and the Grapes. One sunny afternoon, a little fox named Fuzzy was trotting through the forest, his stomach rumbling louder than thunder. "Oh, why am I always so hungry?" Fuzzy groaned, holding his tummy. "I could eat a whole cake. No, 2 cakes right now." As he wandered, something caught his eye. Up ahead on a tall, leafy vine hung the juiciest, shiniest bunch of grapes he had ever seen. They sparkled in the sunlight like little purple jewels. Fuzzy's eyes lit up. "Oh, grapes! My favorite! Just what I needed!" he exclaimed, licking his lips. But there was one tiny problem. The grapes were hanging way up high. Fuzzy squinted at them and tilted his head. "They are just grapes. How hard can it be to reach them?" "Easy peasy," he said confidently, fluffing his tail. He crouched low and counted 1, 2, 3. With a mighty jump, Fuzzy leaped into the air, but missed. Oof! He landed back on the ground with a thud. Okay, I just need to try harder," Fuzzy muttered, brushing dirt off his fur. "This time for sure." He jumped again and again. But no matter how hard he tried, the grapes were always just out of reach. Soon, Fuzzy was huffing and puffing. His legs were trembling like a jelly. Frustration cracked onto his face, and he pouted. Who wants sour, yucky grapes anyway? They probably taste bad," he said, crossing his paws with a huff. As he walked away, his tummy still grumbled. But Fuzzy pretended not to care. "I don't need grapes," he mumbled. Yet, deep down, he felt a little sad. So, the moral of the story is, don't let frustration stop you from trying harder. And never devalue something just because it is hard to achieve. Hope you like the story. Please like and subscribe our channel Tales Old and New. Thank you. Hello friends. Do you see all these colorful kites in the sky? Today we are going to learn about a very special festival called Makar Sankranti. Are you ready? Let's go! So, what is Makar Sankranti? Makar Sankranti happens every year in January, when the sun moves into a new zodiac sign called Capricorn or Makar in Sanskrit. That's why we call it Makar Sankranti. It's like the sun saying,
Time for longer days and warmer weather.
Isn't that cool? Okay, so why do we celebrate? This festival is also about harvest time. Farmers bring in their crops and everyone thanks nature for giving us food.
For this food, we thank Mother Nature and all the farmers.
On Makar Sankranti, people eat yummy sweets made of sesame seeds and jaggery called til gur.
Here, take this till good.
Thank you.
They are sweet and healthy too. And best part, flying kites. The sky becomes full of colors like a giant rainbow made of kites. Okay, now, did you know Makar Sankranti has different names in different parts of India? In Tamil Nadu, it's called Pongal. In Punjab, people celebrate Lohri. And in Assam, it's Bihu. Isn't it amazing how one festival can be celebrated in so many fun ways? This festival teaches us to share, care, and celebrate together. Just like kites fly high in the sky, we should also dream big and reach for the stars. So friends, this Makar Sankranti, let's enjoy sweets, fly kites and spread happiness everywhere. From me to you, Happy Makar Sankranti!
Come everyone, let's celebrate. May we have a good harvest. Happy Bihu.
Hello friends, today we are learning about Bihu, the most famous festival of Assam. Do you know Bihu is celebrated not once but 3 times a year? Let's explore together.
Bihu ahi se.
Deuta, eya ki?
Bihu ahi se.
Bihu is Assam's harvest festival, deeply connected to rice cultivation. It's a time when people thank nature, celebrate with music, dance, and delicious food. Bihu brings everyone together, no matter their age or background. There are 3 types of Bihu: Rongali Bihu or Bohag Bihu in April. It marks the Assamese New Year and spring harvest. Kati Bihu or Kongali Bihu in October, a quieter festival praying for good crops. Magh Bihu or Bhogali Bihu in January celebrates abundance with feast, bonfires and community fun. During Bihu, people perform the lively Bihu dance and sing Bihu Geet or folk songs. Families prepare feasts with rice cakes called pitha and sweets. In Magh Bihu, villagers build huts called meji and burn them in bonfires as a symbol of warmth and unity. Bihu teaches us to celebrate nature, share food, and enjoy music together. Just like the dance steps, life is more fun when we move together in rhythm. So friends,
Come everyone, let's celebrate. May we have a good harvest. Happy Bihu.
Bihu is about joy, gratitude, and togetherness. Wishing you all a very happy Bihu. The two cats and the monkey. Help! Help! He's eating all of it! Wailed Mittu, the cat, as she stared in shock at the cunning monkey chomping down on their bread. But how did it all begin? Let's find out. Once upon a time, in a lively little village, two mischievous cats, Mittu and Bittu, stumbled upon a loaf of bread under a tree. Mittu says, Bittu, look, breakfast is served. Let's share this loaf. Bittu snatching it. Hold on, Mittu. I found it first, so this belongs to me. Their playful friendship quickly turned into a heated argument. As their voices grew louder, a clever monkey named Bantu, sitting on a branch nearby, noticed the commotion. Bantu smirking to himself. What a feast for me if I play my cards right. Climbing down, he approached the bickering cats. Bantu says, Friends, why fight? Let me help you dividing this loaf equally. Relieved, the cats handed over the bread. But to their dismay, Bantu broke it into two uneven pieces. Mittu angrily says, Hey, my piece is smaller. Bittu growling, No way, mine is tinier. Bantu, pretending to fix the problem, took a bite from the larger piece. Then another bite from the smaller one. This went on until there was only a tiny crumb left. Bantu grinning. Oops, I guess there is nothing left to divide, my dear cats. Better luck next time. And with that, he disappeared into the trees, leaving the cats staring helplessly at the ground. Moral of the story? When you quarrel, clever opportunists can take advantage. Learn to resolve conflicts peacefully and protect your interest.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hope you like the story. Please like and subscribe our channel, Tales Old and New.
Pongalo Pongal.
Pongalo Pongal.
Hello friends, today we are learning about Pongal, one of the happiest harvest festivals of Tamil Nadu. Do you know what Pongal means? Let's find out together. Pongal comes from the Tamil word Pongu, which means to boil over. It's celebrated every January to thank the sun god Surya for giving us crops and abundance. Families cook a dish called Sakkarai Pongal, sweet rice with jaggery, ghee and cardamom. When the rice boils over, everyone cheers. Pongalo Pongal!
Pongalo, Pongal, Pongalo.
It's a symbol of plenty and joy. Pongal lasts 4 days. Bhogi Pongal, cleaning homes and discarding old items. Thai Pongal, main day, thanking the sun god. Mattu Pongal, honoring cattle. Kannum Pongal, family gatherings and outings. People decorate homes with kolam or rangoli, wear new clothes, and celebrate with music, dance, and games. It's a time for gratitude, family, and joy. So, friends, Pongal is more than a festival. It's a reminder to thank nature and share happiness. Wishing you all a very happy Pongal.
Hope you like the story. Please like and subscribe our channel Tales Old and New. The Meddling Monkey. The sun hung lazily over the construction site, casting long shadows as workers toiled, their hammers singing against the wood. Sawdust floated through the air like golden mist, carried by the warm afternoon breeze. Amidst the rhythm of labor, an inquisitive monkey perched on a nearby tree, watching with gleaming eyes. Every day he had observed the humans cutting logs, building structures, shaping the world with their peculiar tools. Today, however, curiosity tugged at him stronger than ever. What are these strange things? The monkey wondered. Then the monkey's eyes locked onto something unusual. A massive log, partially split, held open by a wedge. The workers had placed it there to keep the log apart, making it easier to carve. But to the monkey, it was nothing more than an oddity, a puzzle waiting to be solved. The monkey's nimble feet barely made a sound as he leapt down. The workers had momentarily stepped away, unaware of their unintended guest. The monkey reached out. His fingers curled around the wedge. If it's stuck here, it must be important. But what happens if I remove it? The monkey thought. What if he could outsmart these humans? What if removing it made things better? With a triumphant grin, he tugged. The wedge shifted. His heart pounded with excitement. Again, the monkey pulled harder this time. Then, snap! A searing pain exploded through the monkey's body. The massive log, no longer held apart, slammed shut, trapping the monkey's tail in its unyielding grip. A scream tore through the air. He struggled, his limbs flailing, his instincts screaming for escape. But it was no use. The log held him like an unforgiving beast. The workers rushed back, startled by the sudden noise. They saw the helpless creature writhing, pain twisting his face. One of the older workers sighed, shaking his head. A fool meddles in things he does not understand, he murmured. Curiosity without wisdom is a dangerous thing. With great effort, they pried the log open, freeing the monkey. The monkey scampered away, his tail bruised, his pride shattered. As the monkey sat atop his tree that evening, watching the workers once more, the lesson settled deep into his heart. Some things are better left alone. Some puzzles should remain unsolved. So, the moral of the story is curiosity is valuable, but wisdom lies in knowing when to act and when to leave things as they are. Hope you like the story. Please like and subscribe our channel, Tales Old and New. Once upon a time, in a lush forest, there lived a cunning jackal named Chatur. He was clever but always felt dissatisfied with his place in the animal kingdom. He longed to be admired and respected by the other animals. One day, while scavenging near a village, Chatur was chased by a pack of ferocious dogs. Desperate to escape, he leaped into a large drum of indigo dye, which had been left outside by a washerman. When he came out of the drum, his fur was transformed into a striking shade of blue. He returned to the forest, where other animals were frightened to see him. Chatur told them that he was a special messenger sent by the gods, chosen to be their king. The animals, awed by his vibrant hue and confident demeanor, accepted Chatur as their king. They showered him with gifts and treated him with great reverence. One night, when the moon was full and the air filled with the scent of blooming jasmine, Chatur heard the howling of the other jackals in the distance. Forgetting that he was pretending as a special God-sent king, he lifted his head and howled into the night. The other animals were stunned. The animals realized that their king is not any divine messenger, but just a regular jackal in disguise. Their admiration turned into anger and they chased Chatur out of the forest. Chatur now learned a valuable lesson. He realized that true respect and admiration come from honesty and integrity, not by deceiving or lying. Content with his place in the world, he lived rest of his days wisely, helping others whenever he could. And the moral of this story for everyone is, while appearance can be deceiving, truth and honesty always prevail. The Elephants and the Mice. Once upon a time, in a dense green forest, there lived a herd of huge elephants. They were strong, tall, and proud. Near the edge of the forest, in little burrows under the ground, lived a colony of tiny mice. Every day, the elephants would march to the river to drink water. But as they passed through the field, their heavy feet crushed the homes of the poor mice. The mice squeaked in fear. "Oh no, our homes are being destroyed." One brave little mouse gathered courage and went to the leader of the elephants.
Mr. Elephant, will you please listen to my prayers?
Yes, little mouse. What do you wish to say?
When you come in a herd, you crush our burrows. Please change your path.
Please be kind and take another path. The elephant leader listened carefully. He nodded and said, "You are right, little one. From today, we will change our path. Thank you for telling us." The mice were overjoyed and squeaked happily. "Thank you, thank you." Days passed. One afternoon, hunters came to the forest and trapped the elephants in strong nets. The elephants trumpeted loudly, but they could not break free. Hearing their cries, the mice rushed to help. With their sharp little teeth, they nibbled and gnawed at the ropes. Soon the elephants were free. The elephant leader bowed his head and said, "Dear mice, you saved our lives. We are big and strong, but today we learned that even the smallest friend can be the greatest helper." And from that day on, the elephants and mice lived as the best of friends. So, moral of the story? Kindness is never wasted. Even the smallest creature can help the mightiest.
Hope you like the story. Please like and subscribe our channel Tales Old and New. The Fox and the Crow. One bright morning, a cheerful crow sat on a strong branch, holding a soft, fluffy piece of bread in its beak. This bread is so tasty. It's all mine, thought the crow, feeling very happy. Down below, a smart fox was strolling through the forest when it saw the crow with the bread. "Oh wow, that looks delicious. I want a bite," thought the fox. But how could it get the bread? The fox had a clever idea. The fox looked up at the crow with big, admiring eyes and said, "Oh, wonderful crow, your feathers shine like polished gold, and I bet your voice is the sweetest in the whole forest. Would you sing a song for me?" The crow puffed up with pride. "Oh wow, no one has ever said such nice things to me," it thought. The crow wanted to show off its voice, so it opened its beak wide and shouted, "Caw!" But oh, the bread slipped out and tumbled down, landing right in front of the fox. The fox quickly grabbed the bread and munched on it happily. "Thank you, dear crow," giggled the fox. "Next time, don't trust flattery so easily." And off the fox went, full and satisfied. The crow sighed, feeling a little foolish. "Oh no, I should have been careful." And from that day on, the crow learned an important lesson. Never let pride trick you into making a silly mistake, and never trust flattery too quickly. Hope you like the story. Please like and subscribe our channel Tales Old and New. Mittu and the Yellow Mango. Mittu was a green parrot with a red beak. One day, he was flying in the sky when he saw a big yellow mango hanging from a tree. It looked very tasty and Mittu wanted to eat it. But there was a problem. A black crow was sitting on the tree. The crow shouted, "Caw, caw, go away. This is my tree." Mittu was scared and flew away.
Mittu thought for a while. Then he got an idea. He picked up a red balloon and flew back to the tree. He hid behind the leaves and popped the balloon with his beak. The balloon made a loud sound. The crow got frightened and flew away. Mittu laughed and said, "Ha ha, the crow is gone." Then he ate the big yellow mango happily. Moral of the story is, use your cleverness to solve problems instead of running away or fighting.
The Three Fishes. Once upon a time, in a serene and crystal clear pond, surrounded by lush green meadows, there lived three fishes, Wise Fin, Quick Fin, and the Lazy Fin, who were the best of friends. Each had their own unique personality that often influenced their decisions. Wise Fin was known for his intelligence and foresight. He always thought ahead, considering the consequences of his actions. He was the leader of the group, and his friends often relied on his judgment. Quick Fin was agile and fast. He loved to explore every nook and cranny of the pond, often discovering new places and food sources. His quick reflexes made him adept at avoiding danger. Lazy Fin, on the other hand, preferred to take things easy. He enjoyed lounging in the cool waters, basking in the sunlight. He often ignored Wise Fin's advice, trusting that things would always work out in the end. One day, as Wise Fin was swimming near the surface, he overheard two fishermen talking nearby. "This pond is full of fish. Let's cast our nets here tomorrow morning." Alarmed, Wise Fin quickly swam to his friends to share the news. "We must leave the pond immediately," he urged. "It's not safe here anymore." Quick Fin, trusting Wise Fin's judgment, agreed without hesitation. Lazy Fin, however, was not convinced. "Why should we leave our home?" he asked. "We have lived here peacefully for so long. I don't see any danger." Despite Wise Fin's insistence, Lazy Fin refused to leave, believing the fishermen would not catch him. The following morning, before the sun rose, Wise Fin and Quick Fin swam out of the pond and into the river, finding safety in its vastness. As the day progressed, the fishermen arrived and cast their nets into the pond. Lazy Fin, caught off guard, found himself trapped in the net. His complacency had led to his capture. Wise Fin and Quick Fin, saddened by the loss of their friend, realized that their different personalities had led them to different fates. They understood the importance of listening to wise counsel and the dangers of complacency. And so, the story of the three fishes teaches us the value of foresight, the importance of quick action in the face of danger, and the perils of ignoring good advice.
The Greedy Dog. In a peaceful village, surrounded by green fields and chirping birds, there lived a dog who was clever, curious, and always hungry. Each day, the dog wandered through the village, sniffing around for something to eat. One sunny afternoon, the dog's nose led it to a small snack stall near the park. The aroma of roasted peanuts and warm flatbreads filled the air. Just beside the stall, the dog spotted a big, juicy bone.
left behind by a kind passerby who had fed it earlier. Without a second thought, the dog grabbed the bone and dashed off, paws thudding against the cobbled path. It ran past the playground, past the temple bells, and finally reached the quiet river bank, where it could enjoy the treat in peace. But to get there, it had to cross a narrow wooden bridge. As the dog trotted across, it glanced down into the water and froze. Below, in the river's reflection, was another dog holding a bone, eyes wide with greed. It thought, that bone looks even bigger. If I bark loud enough, maybe the other dog will drop it and I'll have two. The dog barked loudly at the reflection, but the moment it opened its mouth, plop! Its own bone slipped from its jaws and fell into the river. It washed helplessly as the treat sank beneath the rippling surface. There was no other dog. It had been its own reflection. Greed had tricked it, and now it had nothing. The dog sat quietly on the bridge, ears drooping and stomach growling. That day, it learned an important lesson it would never forget. Greed can make us lose what we already have. So, be content and grateful for what you possess. Hope you like the story. Please like and subscribe our channel, Tales Old and New.